All right, let's just jump right in with a question. What if I told you that a lot of what we think we know about keeping our hearts healthy is kind of wrong, especially as we get older? Today, we're going to talk about why the real secret to longevity isn't about raw power, but about something else entirely: efficiency.
You know the picture, right? The super fit marathon runner, drenched in sweat, pushing their body to the absolute limit. That's the image we're sold. The idea is that a healthy heart is all about power. Go harder, go faster, push, push, push.
But here's the thing. Does that model really work for us forever? Especially after, say, 65? Is raw power still the name of the game? Well, today we're going to challenge that idea, because it turns out the new gold standard for a long, healthy life might just be efficiency.
Okay, so let's get real. As we get older, our hearts just change. It's totally natural. The muscle can get a little stiffer, maybe the walls thicken up a bit, and our max heart rate isn't what it used to be. So trying to train like you're 25 again, it's not just tough, it can actually be a bad idea. The real key, the thing we should be aiming for, isn't about being the most powerful, it's about being the most efficient. It's all about how well your heart can get its job done without having to work itself into a frenzy.
So the big question is, how do we actually build an efficient heart? Well, it all starts with how we move. And no, I'm not talking about those killer high-intensity workouts. I'm talking about something much more approachable: moving smart.
All right, so where do we even begin? Let's not guess. Let's look at what the experts say. The World Health Organization, the WHO, has put together some super clear, science-backed guidelines. Think of it as a roadmap, especially for anyone over 65 who wants to get that heart working smarter.
The first number you need to know is 150. 150. That's the goal. 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity every week. Now I know that might sound like a big number, but break it down. That's really just a little over 20 minutes a day. Totally doable. And I bet you're asking, what in the world is moderate intensity? Don't worry, we are absolutely going to cover that.
And the second magic number? It's 2. The WHO says we should be doing muscle strengthening stuff at least 2 days a week. And listen, this isn't just for your heart. This is about keeping you stable on your feet, helping your posture. It's about your overall ability to just, live well.
Okay, so back to that moderate intensity thing. How do we find it? The secret is something called Zone 2 training. It's this awesome, low-intensity, steady kind of exercise. The idea is you're moving enough to get your heart pumping, for sure, but you're not so out of breath that you can't chat with a friend. It's really the sweet spot, the perfect place to be to build a super efficient cardiovascular system.
And you know what the best part is? You don't need a fancy heart rate monitor or any expensive gadgets to figure this out. All you need is the talk test. It's so simple. Just start moving, say a brisk walk. Now try to talk. If you can have a full conversation pretty comfortably, but you probably couldn't belt out your favorite song, boom, you're in zone 2. It's seriously that easy.
Okay, so we've got the move smart part down. Now let's talk about how to eat smart. Because let's face it, an efficient heart needs the right fuel just as much as it needs the right movement.
I want to zoom in on one mineral that is just so important: magnesium. Think of magnesium as your heart's personal chill-out buddy. It literally helps the heart muscle relax after every single contraction. Now, if you don't have enough of it, your heart is basically stuck working overtime with the parking brake on. Not good, right? But here's the great news. Getting enough magnesium is actually pretty easy and, honestly, delicious. Did you know that just a handful of pumpkin seeds can get you almost halfway to your daily goal? And there are other great sources too, like almonds, spinach, even dark chocolate. Yes, you heard that right. And beans. These are such simple things to add to your diet, but they make a huge difference.
And if you want to look at the bigger picture, the American Heart Association is a huge fan of the Mediterranean-style diet. I mean, it's packed with fruits, veggies, whole grains, all those good, healthy fats. It's not just delicious, it's a proven powerhouse for your heart.
All right, we've talked about moving smart and eating smart. Now let's get into the third piece of the puzzle, the simple daily habits that can protect your heart from all those hidden stressors in life.
Let's talk about stress. Not just feeling stressed out, but what chronic stress physically does to you. It's like a constant assault on your heart. It floods your system with cortisol, which can actually harden your arteries and make your blood pressure spike. Yikes. But there's a really simple, powerful antidote: intentional silence. Seriously, just 10 minutes of quiet, no phone, no TV, can fire up your vagus nerve, which basically tells your heart, hey, it's okay to slow down. Time for a break. It gives your whole system a chance to recharge.
And you know what's just as crucial as activity? Rest. Good quality sleep. Most of us need somewhere between 7 and 9 hours a night, and this is not something to mess with. Lousy sleep, especially if it's from something like sleep apnea, can have really serious consequences for your heart. We're talking high blood pressure, and even, down the line, heart failure. Okay, now for a little twist. I bet you've heard this one. An aspirin a day keeps the heart attack away, right? For decades, this was just common wisdom. It seemed like such a simple, smart thing to do to prevent that first heart attack.
But you know, in medicine, things can change, and they can change fast. What was gospel truth yesterday might not be today. And when it comes to that daily aspirin, well, there's been a major scientific shift, and it has huge implications, especially for adults over 60.
So here it is, the big reveal. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force now officially recommends against starting a daily low-dose aspirin routine if you're over 60 and you don't already have heart disease. So why the complete 180? Well, the latest evidence is showing that for most people in that group, the risk of serious bleeding from the aspirin is actually greater than any potential benefit. The scales have tipped.
Okay, wow, we've gone through a lot. Smart movement, smart eating, daily habits, even that big update on aspirin. So, what do we do with all this? Let's tie it all together into a simple plan you can actually stick with.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. The American Heart Association has a fantastic tool called Life's Essential 8. It's basically a checklist, and it's so powerful because it covers all the bases we've been talking about. Eating better, being active, getting good sleep, and keeping an eye on all those important numbers.
And please remember this, the goal here is not some radical, crazy overhaul of your entire life overnight. That's not sustainable. It's really about making small, smart choices that you can stick with. Every one of those little choices adds up, and together they build some really powerful protection for your heart.
So, we've covered a ton of ground today, right? From that Zone 2 training sweet spot to the magic of magnesium and that big news about aspirin. I want to leave you with a question, just for you to think about. What's one small step, just one, that you'll take this week to start building a more efficient heart? Because that whole journey to a long and healthy life, it really does start with that one small step.